Happy Friday, everybody. I'm going to give you guys just a few seconds to jump on before we get started with our guest. And while I'm waiting on some people to pop on and see that we're live, I wanted to remind everybody about our gingerbread doghouse competition that is coming up next Thursday at Bull City Cider Works. We have a few spots left for entries, and we're super excited about this contest. I must say so myself. I am super excited to see what creations everybody comes up with. The cost to participate is $30, and you get a gingerbread house kit. You get all the treats to decorate your gingerbread house with, and you get one cider from us. Your first cider at Bull City Cider Works will be on our tab. So you get your money's worth out of it, and you certainly are going to get a fun evening out. Your pet is welcome to come with you, and I'm looking forward to this event. I have visions of grandeur, thinking of the Grove Park Inn gingerbread contest. I think we can do it much bigger and better than they can. So we're really excited about that. But without further ado, as people continue to join us, I'm going to introduce you to Dave Ratner with Dave's Pet Food and add him to our screen here. So,
hello.
Hi, we're super excited to have you here with us. It's a perfect time of year to really talk about your pet food line, although there's really not a bad time of year to talk about the things you offer since you have so many functional things. But first, kind of tell us a little bit about you and how you got into your pet food line.
Sure. I just want to tell the makeup crew they can leave. I'm good. So, and believe me, they were here for like 8 hours trying to. It was a thing of beauty. So, first of all, thank you for having me. This is so cool, and of course, you are probably the only retailer in the whole country who does stuff like this. You run such a phenomenal business. It's an honor to be represented by you. So as you know, that your viewers probably don't, I am a veteran of the pet business. I had stores for 44 years.
Wow.
Right. I sold them about an hour before COVID hit.
Wow.
But so I had stores, and I worked the floor, and I knew customers would come in and say, my dog has this, my cat has this. So I was in the store one day, and I want to talk about our most popular flavor, which is our bland diet. I'm standing in the store, and maybe for the 800,000th time, a customer came in and said, my dog has diarrhea, or my dog has a sensitive stomach. What should I do? My vet has me on ID. I can't afford it. And I used to say, well, go home and cook chicken and rice, but you can't do that for long because you don't have the proper vitamins and minerals if you just use chicken and rice. And then it was like one day I went, duh, I'm not doing this anymore. And I called one of the pet food, manufacturers and said, can you guys make me a chicken and rice that has the proper vitamins and minerals so we can sell it to all the customers? And they said, sure. So voila, the bland diet was born. And I had 7 stores. It became in a heartbeat the #1 selling product in the whole store, period, end of story. So, and the reason is, well, I mean, how many customers come in a day and say, how did our discussion start today?
Yeah.
Right? Your dachshund's got diarrhea.
Yeah, I was telling Dave that I just rescued a dachshund a couple of weeks ago that was down in her back end, and she's had back surgery. And I'm pretty sure there's no condition worse than having a dog that can't walk, who's still paralyzed in her back end for the most part, and her having diarrhea, because she knows she's going. She wants to get out of it, but she's dragging her back end, and it's getting everywhere. And what a mess. I was saying to Dave, I'm taking home cans of the bland diet tonight to help get her guts in order.
Right. So the other part of the bland diet is, because I was on the floor selling for 44 years, I know that not everyone can afford $5 and $6 a can. So my whole goal in life with the whole Dave's pet food line is to have food that I like to use the word Mrs. Normal Consumer can walk into the store, pick up the can, and not have a stroke when she looks at the price. So that's the other part of the equation. And then, as luck would have it, do you remember California Natural?
I do. I absolutely do.
So that was a go-to brand for stores like ours, that when a dog had diarrhea, we would sell them the lamb and rice that was in a can. They got bought by P&G. P&G in about 2 hours and 45 minutes sunk this wonderful brand.
Yes.
Right? Did it even take 2 hours to do it?
Bare shelves. It was terrible. It was terrible.
So they went out of business, and I called the manufacturer and said, can I have that formula of the old lamb and rice now that it's gone? And they said, sure. So the other flavor that we have, the lamb and rice, is the old, I don't even know if you know this. That's the old California Natural lamb and rice that we used to sell before our bland was.
Wow, I had no idea. I mean, I certainly know, as they say, the proof is in the pudding, right? That it really works. But yeah, I had no idea. That's wild. But yeah, no, I greatly remember the lamb and rice, and
it was the go-to formula when anybody's right.
Wow.
So that's that's our the number one selling food in the line. And my dog, I had a shepherd, that was his whole life. Bland diet. Chicken and rice, right? Bland rice.
Yeah.
Here's where I have to caution, though.
Yeah.
And you have to deal with this every day. Thankfully, I don't have to do this anymore. The customers come in, they buy the bland, they buy, and then they give treats. And they ruin everything that they did with the food by giving either too many or the wrong kinds of treats.
Right. Yeah, you have to always, you always have to consider the treats, whether it be from an upset digestive tract to also allergies. I mean, I get customers in here who are like, well, I don't understand. I'm feeding a limited ingredient diet. And I'm like, well, what kind of treats are you giving? Well, milk bone. Well, let's have a conversation about that and about how that's not a limited ingredient and how that might be affecting your elimination diet here. So yeah, you definitely always have to consider the treats.
Right, because you know this, your viewers may not, or our viewers may not. Wheat is the largest source of stomach irritation for dogs. It's not about it's not about grain. You can have different kinds. You can have rice. You can have this. Grain-free is not so important, but you don't want wheat. If your dog has a sensitive stomach, chances are it's the wheat.
Yeah. That's it. Definitely a common upset to the gut for sure.
Yep. So what I would like to propose is for anyone who wants to come to try it to come in, and you'll give them a free can.
I'll be happy to do that. If you mention that you've watched this live, you can come into either store location and let one of our staff members know that you heard Dave say it here.
Absolutely.
You can get a free can to try it out. And we'll do that dog or cat because you also have a cat line. It's not just about dog food.
Correct.
You have so many different products. We definitely want to try to cover a lot, but the bland food diet is so important, especially here at the holidays, because dogs often get diagnosed with pancreatitis and get diagnosed with stomach upset here at the holidays because maybe they got into the turkey drippings or they got fed.
Maybe one of the company you had was giving them stuff while you were having dinner.
Exactly. Yeah. Right? Grandma and granddad came over and gave their grandpup a little side treat and upset the belly in the apple cart. So, when those times happen, definitely remember that Dave's has a bland diet that you can turn to, that you can either feed consistently, which is a nice thing if you have a dog that is consistently upset tummy, or feed intermittently if you need to. to
So it should be like Pepto-Bismol. You know, you have a little Pepto-Bismol in your medicine cabinet. You should have a few cans of Dave's Bland in the dog's medicine cabinet.
Yeah, this is so true. Well, and you have a dry component too.
We do.
And
We do.
so that comes in 3 different sizes, I think.
Yeah, yeah. And it's chicken, rice, and oatmeal.
Okay.
And there's, I'm going to get the pronunciation wrong. There's aliactic, there's pre and pro. I don't know how to pronounce it.
Good and bad bacteria. We'll just
Right. There's pre and probiotics in it to help heal the gut.
Yes. Yep.
Which is obviously a big deal.
The whole point.
Right.
You know, you have a lot of foods that are not in the functional category.
Yep.
So for both cat and for dog, and they're a great price point, great variety, and lots of different protein availability. And as I would say about all of our customers, we really recommend that protein rotating if you can do it. If your dog's not too sensitive. So the Dave's line certainly offers that capability. But I wanted to also talk about your low phosphorus diets.
Yeah, that is like the coolest food in the history of the world.
Yeah.
So the bad news is it's unbelievable how many dogs have kidney disease and cats.
Yeah,
cats for sure. It's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
So we hired a consulting firm that has certified veterinary nutritionists. They have a whole team of them, and they came up with a formula that restricts the phosphorus, which is the bad part. If your dog or cat, or I think you have kidney disease, it's the phosphorus. That it's not so much protein. They used to think it was protein.
Yeah.
It's phosphorus. So they came up with a low phosphorus, high in vitamin B, because when the dog pees, they pee out the vitamin B, and they need the vitamin B. And they made the food into a crumble, and they did this on purpose so that they would force the owners to mix it with water, because when the kidneys aren't functioning correctly, the animal has trouble retaining the water and the vitamins and minerals.
Mm-hmm.
So they came out with this crumble, and the beauty is, we tested it, and the veterinarian who came, the lead vet, has a dog that has kidney disease, so that was the guinea pig, so to speak, was her dog. And so it's unbelievably palatable. And actually, there's a video that the vets made for us that if you have a bag in the store, there's a QR code. You scan that QR code, it goes right to the video.
Wow.
Of the vets. How technically advanced are we?
How fancy do you feel, Dave?
Right. So now, again, because I'm a retailer, so the food is expensive when you buy the bag. A 4-pound bag is like $45. So that's a lot of money. Mm-hmm. But what we did is, because it's a concentrate, a 4-pound bag will last a 30-pound dog, I think, 10 days. So it's way less than if you're feeding KD. It's way less than a canned food. And I'm just acutely sensitive to the cost.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because not
we as consumers all completely appreciate.
Well, they do. And I think, again, that goes from my days of waiting on customers that look at stuff and go, are you out of your mind? How much is this stuff? I can't afford it. Yeah. So anyway, it's reasonable in the world of functional diets. And then we also came out with a can. It's tuna based. And some dogs love it. Some dogs aren't crazy about it. The vets wanted a can as well. So you could sometimes, just to give the dog variety, you could mix the can in with it. So some dogs will eat, let's say, the can in the morning. And again, the can, I'm guessing, I think a can of KD Hills is got to be $5, $6.
I'm
A
thinking you're
can
right.
of this, and here's an aside, I encourage your customers, to take the can to their veterinarian so their veterinarian can look at it and doesn't yell at them for feeding a food that's not KD.
Mm-hmm.
To get their blessing. But I think a can of this, it's like a bucket can cheaper than, or more than the Hills. So some dogs don't like it. For those dogs, add it in.
Mix it in with one of the other cans.
Right. If your dog doesn't like it, if your dog does like it, feed that in the morning, feed the crumble in the evening. So at least you're giving the dog some, some variety. And again, it's really important if your dog has a kidney, or cat, if they have a kidney issue, to give can to make sure they're getting enough moisture.
Yeah. Moisture being the key component for all of that.
Moisture is the key component. Correct.
Well, and I would ask you this question. So with regards to prescriptive diets that you get at the vet versus what we're selling here on our shelves from Dave's, those foods are not necessarily complete and balanced diets.
Neither is ours.
Okay, I was going to say they've omitted some things.
But here's they have to omit some things.
Mm-hmm.
So, for example, ours is not complete and balanced because the phosphorus level is lower than what AFCO would call for a maintenance diet.
Okay, that's exactly what I wanted you to speak to.
Yep.
Okay.
So it can't be complete
Labeled.
and balanced. It can't be labeled as complete and balanced. It's the perfect food. And again, either mine or Hills or whoever you're using, it's the perfect food as long as your dog has a kidney issue. If the dog's kidney issue goes away, which unfortunately it never will, then the feds say, we now want you to go back to a maintenance diet. The issue is, as you know, if your dog gets an issue like it doesn't go away, or you can't. But that's why they're not complete and balanced.
Okay, that was mostly what I wanted you to speak to as to why it said that. We do have a question from Kim Friedman. She says, what can you recommend for a dog with acid reflux? Would any of your foods, do you think, address that kind of an issue? I think there are a lot of different places, I would say to Kim, there are a lot of different places that acid reflux could be coming from. And it could be a protein switch, right? There could be a protein issue or a grain inclusion issue. But then, you could add something as simple as slippery elm or some kind of digestive supplement to what you're already feeding to help with acid reflux.
This is where I get gun shy. And if
I can cover this issue for you, Dave.
because I don't want to recommend one of my foods. And have I'm thinking chicken is the most blandest. Is that correct English? Most blandest food protein that you can get. So maybe the bland diet would work with acid, but why is the dog having acid reflux?
Yeah, I mean, I have this in one of my older dogs, and in the mornings I was noticing that he was throwing up. He was throwing up just bile. And I thought, well, I'm just going to, because we can't really find anything wrong in particular. So I started adding slippery elm to his meals, and that's done the deal.
Plus it made the meals go down quicker.
Yeah. So if y'all don't know what slippery elm is, we have it in several things here, but it does coat the entire digestive tract. So it does just make it slide right through. But no, it really helps coat all the way down the throat, the stomach, and just help soothe everything. And you can use it in humans too. If you have a sore throat, it's really good for a sore throat. But I have been using that, and that seems to fix the problem. But Kim, I would invite you to come into the stores, and we can certainly help decode your issues a little bit more and talk with you more in depth about what you're feeding
Right.
and ways that we can help. And Michelle Ambrosino has a Great Dane. She's one of our Great Dane
Oh,
customers.
yeah.
She's had lots of Danes with us, but she has a new Dane girl named Goosey. And she says Goosey's already a Dave's fan, a 95% premium.
Yeah, that's my favorite food.
So, yeah, that's
That's great. And so I'll tell you why it's my favorite food. And thank you very much for using that.
yeah,
It's my favorite food because now the government won't let us say this, but it's virtually carb free,
yeah.
right? It's 95% meat and water.
Mm-hmm.
So if it's like the Atkins diet or keto or whatever, right? Dogs don't need carbs. So if your dog is overweight, if your dog is allergic to a certain protein, but I love I used to do this all day long. I would have so much fun in the store. If your dog is overweight, feed less kibble. I don't care what kibble you're feeding. The best, most expensive kibble, in order to make the kibble, it's got to have starch or carbs in it. Period. End of story.
Mm-hmm.
Feed less of that. Add in some of the 95 meat, and the dog gets less carbs.
Yeah.
Period. End of story. And right, it's all meat. So dogs love it. When we have reports of dead dogs getting up to eat this food. That's how palatable it is. They're unsubstantiated reports. But we have. Right. And it's the same with cats. We have the 95 cat, and it's even more important because cats are obligate carnivores. They don't need any carbs.
Yeah. And I hope that Aaron Haig watches this. He's one of our customers. He's probably our biggest cat customer we have.
Yep.
I think he and his wife definitely have into the double digits. Kitty cats, because they do a lot of kitty cat rescue, and they also feed a feral colony. They're really great people. We love them to death, and they're great Dave's customers. They love Dave.
Thank you. They use the 12-ounce, I would assume.
They do use some of those. They also get the cases of the 5.5 ounce in the droves. So they definitely use a lot of those. Can you speak to the sourcing of the ingredients that you guys include?
Sure. So most brand owners aren't like this, but I'm going to speak for our industry. Okay. So all the foods that Allison carries in her stores, we all pretty much source the same way. We all use co-packers, and they make our formulas. So all our proteins, they either come from the U.S., maybe Canada, and maybe Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
Especially since COVID started,
mm-hmm.
the sourcing of proteins has become a nightmare.
Yeah.
So now,
to our consumer, I would say is why you see out of stocks on our can shelves,
which is much better now. Everybody's is back in stock. So when you say why can't you have everything made from the USA? If you go to the grocery store and you buy some veggies, you'll see that they're from South America. They're not from here or whatever. Some of them come from my wife Ellen just chimed in from Mexico. So we try and source in all brands everything as much as possible from the US or Canada.
Mm-hmm.
Now, your customers aren't going to believe this. The only place in the world that you can get vitamin C, which is in the vitamin packs, is from China.
Mm-hmm.
Period. End of story. And the companies that say, "Oh no, our vitamins come from Germany," I'm sure you've heard that, Allison, from salespeople. Yes, they do come from Germany. Guess where the company in Germany gets them from? Why this country can't make a vitamin C factory because it's synthetic is beyond me. But so during COVID, there was a shortage for humans and for pets of vitamin C because it was coming from China, and China was shut down.
Mm-hmm.
So we don't use anything. The only thing that any of us use from China is vitamin C.
Mm-hmm.
And we just don't have a choice. That's the only place in the world you can get it. On our cat foods, it's the same thing with all our proteins and veggies. Everything comes from Canada or sometimes Mexico, but mostly US, except for lamb, because we don't have lamb here. It comes from New Zealand. The cat food, Dave's, Waruva, Tiki, all the cat companies that do tuna, that all comes from Thailand.
Mm-hmm.
And here's why it comes from Thailand. Thailand is where chicken of the sea and bumblebee tuna is.
Mm-hmm.
So someone had the brilliant idea well, let's take the remains of what we didn't put in that food and we'll start making cat food.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So here's the good news. The good news is the folks who make ours is chicken of the sea. So they're absolutely dolphin free. They belong to a coalition of safe fishing, so that I can go to sleep at night knowing that you're not getting
not harming. Yeah.
Correct. So that's where all our tuna products come. So that's really it, for the sourcing.
Mm-hmm.
And we're all in the same boat.
Yeah. It's everybody.
It's everybody.
Sure.
Correct.
I say this often if customers are watching. I'm sure Michelle has heard me say this. Yep. Francis, Lindy, there are several people who've commented, but I really like to say, I like to carry the foods in our stores where I physically know the owner and where I can say, oh yeah, I know Dave.
Yep.
Because to me, it's a trust factor that I know I can pick up the phone and call you, and I have picked up the phone and called you when I'm having a problem.
Yep.
Or, when a customer's having a problem, so we can track down what's going on and track down where the problem might be coming from. And sometimes we're successful, sometimes we're not, but you're
right. And we had a pretty big problem.
We did.
Right.
We did.
Right.
Yeah. We had a customer who was having some issues with the bland diet. And, she did tell me just recently she hadn't had any more issues, but, and she definitely still feeds it. And I think part of that trust factor is knowing you and knowing that I can bring you the problem and you're immediately going to jump on it and you're going to say, nope, we're going to track this down. We're going to figure it out. We're going to take care of the customer. And, I can't do that with Purina. I can't do that with some of these major companies, and they don't care about me or my customer when I go and say, hey, we're having problems. They will scrape me to the side. But you know me, you know my face, you know my stores, and
I know your crew, right?
And I mean, that's an amazing gift to be able to say, hey, if you have a problem with this food, I can guarantee you that we can figure it out. And that is huge. Okay, Linda.
I think this just comes from my retailer days. And someone comes into your store, they've never heard of Dave's. Why should they trust Dave's? Right? They're trusting us with the health of the creature that they love more than anything. As I like to say, it's their real significant other. Right? I mean, let's face it, it is, right?
So true.
So true. So I mean, at night I'm answering consumers. If you have a customer in the store and you want to call me I'd love to talk to the customers.
Yeah.
And maybe that's because I'm a little bit.
It's because
I love it. I love it. It makes my day. I love it.
Yeah, I know. It is. At the end of the day, you care as much as we do about the consumer and about their pet, because you definitely realize the importance that pet plays in their lives. Makes the big difference. Linda Murphy is saying, would love to know why Dave's turkey has been so hard to get. Love Dave's for my 5 pups. Linda, can you tell us which turkey? I can't look it up right now in our system, but I'm not sure which turkey you get. But if you want to tell me.
Yeah, they're not. Oh, I'll bet she might be talking about the turkey and bacon.
Maybe.
Let's see what she comes back.
Yeah, we'll see if she says anything back. I can't look it up right now in my system, but
if she says your viewers will find this interesting. Turkey and bacon was a very good seller for us. We get an email from our supplier and says, "Excuse me, we can't get bacon."
Mm.
There was literally an issue. We cannot get the bacon that meets our standards for the protein level. And they said until further notice, it's discontinued.
She's saying no, not the bacon, the turkey and liver maybe, or the 95% can.
Yeah, we have that. I don't know.
Yeah, I'll have to look. Dave and I were talking before that there have been some distribution challenges.
I know your distributor has tons of it.
Okay. I'll look into that for you, Linda.
Yeah.
We'll see if maybe it's.
Thank you for using it.
Yeah, it may be just the day you're coming in, we've been out of it or something like that. But I will say this to everybody who's watching, please don't hesitate that if you don't see what you need for your pet, let one of our staff members know. We will write you a special order and call you when it comes in. And that way we can make sure we have plenty of it for you, because it may have been that somebody just came and cleaned out our shelves. I think Linda shops at the same store that Michelle shops at, our High Point Road location, and they both are feeding that 95% turkey. So maybe they're competing against each other to get everything off our shelves. But we'll see. Linda, I'll take a look at it and I'll reach out to you and see what we can get figured out for sure. Okay, Linda says she goes to both. Yeah, I definitely have seen you at both. Anything else you can think of that would be good to share?
No, I have some relief for your customers that the crazy price increases of the last year are over.
Mm-hmm.
Prices have moderated. Transportation costs have moderated. I'll just share this with you guys because we know each other so well now.
Yes.
Pre-COVID, we were paying $5,000 to get a container of food from Thailand to our warehouse in New Jersey. During COVID, we paid as high as $28,000 for that same container.
That's insanity.
So one of the reasons why you couldn't get food is and that wasn't just pet food, that was anything that was coming from. Some of the companies said, we're not doing it. We can't go up to cover that. So we're just not going to bring the product in. Mm-hmm. And that's why that's one of the reasons you had so many holes. So now the prices come back down. It's more than 5, but at least it's not.
It's balanced out a little bit. Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I will say, now we've gone down in price and have just kind of recently announced a price decrease on some cat cans.
Yeah. So I decided, of course, that if an investment banker ever looked at my business, they would slap me in the head and fire me immediately. They would. I decided that I want to keep our 3-ounce cat cans at 99 cents. So Fancy Feast is almost 99 cents in the grocery stores now. Mm-hmm. So how can let me try and explain this. For me to stay in business, you have to stay in business. Mm-hmm. So if you're at 99 cents, Mrs. Consumer comes into Mrs. Normal Consumer comes into your store. She doesn't get sticker shock. You now have a way to switch her off of Fancy Feast without her spending 50 or 60 cents more a can.
Yeah.
Right? For a grain-free, great product. Mm-hmm. So I discussed it with Donovan and I said, Donovan, let's just have a loss leader, keep it at the 99 cents. It'll help the retailers and it'll help get people on our brand. And I know you have folks coming into your store with other brands. They have deals. They have do that, but this is our everyday
price.
Everyday price. 99 cents for a 3-ounce can of grain-free cat food. Right.
Yeah, that's huge. And Dave's
Yep.
does the loyalty program as well through Astra
Yep.
Loyalty, which
Yep.
is also
Yep.
really important.
Yep.
And so, you know, all of those things are very important to the consumer who's budget conscious, which we all have to be these days.
Yes.
For sure. But we've always been avid supporters of Dave's Pet Food. Like I said, I just don't think you can get that kind of quality and confidence in a product for the price that it is. I mean, it's just amazing.
You're very sweet.
To be able to do that. And, you know, I will tell you guys, one of my favorite things about going to trade shows is walking down the aisle and seeing Dave go, Allison, and ask me how my stores are doing and ask how my staff is doing and ask what he can do to better support us. And so, as a retailer myself, it's always wonderful to have a manufacturer that cares about not just my consumer, but about us as a retailer as well. Because that's really important too. Because we're a team. We are definitely a team.
Yep.
But well, if you guys have any other questions, we can kind of shoot them over really fast. If you have questions after we finish filming this, you can definitely still put them in the feed, and I will get your questions to Dave, and he can answer them, and I'll get you answers back. Or you can always message Dave's Pet Food. If they were to send you an email, if you, and not that you necessarily
if you want to send, it's Dave at Dave's Pet Food.
Yeah.
And I promise you I'll get back to you. It's not a robot.
It's he definitely will. But if you have questions directly for Dave and you want to get to him, okay. Christy Moran was saying Dave had a wonderful rep at the event at All Pets Considered last year, referring to our friend Donovan. Who is He's the best. He really is the best. If y'all don't know who Donovan is, he is Dave's right-hand man. We've known Donovan a very long time, and he does a lot for Dave's. So yeah,
I'm not going to tell him you said nice things about him.
Well, actually, fun fact is that Donovan's dog Chase was adopted from the Haley Graves Foundation, which is a rescue organization that we work with quite closely. And Donovan came up here and he and I got started talking, and he was like, yeah, I really want to get a dog for the children. I'm thinking like a beagle or something. I said, hang on a minute. I got you. I can help this. And he literally did. He went and traveled to another city to visit some more stores and then came back through and adopted Chase. And every time he comes, he gives me an update on how Chase is doing. So, you know, we all are really like a family. It's amazing. We know each other quite well.
There's not a lot of companies left, you know, in our industry that are family run. Most of them are VC or.
Yeah, it's so rare. It is so rare. So we really treasure when we can do this kind of thing. So now it's not just me saying that I know Dave. Now all of you who have watched this live segment can say, you know Dave too. And unfortunately, he won't recognize your face when he sees you, but you guys now.
And you'll all be able to sleep much better tonight knowing you know me.
We all do, Dave. We all do. Michelle is saying we all love the Dave's It's Yummy to My Tummy reusable shopping bag.
Oh, yeah.
She said that she even takes it to the grocery store.
Oh, so that's great.
Get more. Because Linda's saying, oh, I want one of those. So we'll have to get more and hand them out in 2024 for sure.
Right. Next trade show.
That's right. I'll grab some at the next trade show, Linda, and I'll bring you one home.
Right.
So, well, I truly appreciate you joining us, Dave.
Well, you're very sweet. You're very kind to have me on. It's I could get a copy of this because I actually want to show my wife that, you know, someone likes me.
You can pull it from our YouTube channel, and
after 46 years, she may believe me. I don't know.
Yeah, you can pull it from our YouTube channel, or you can go on our Facebook page. It'll be there too. And you guys can share it on your platform.
All right, we can share it on right.
Yeah, please.
I say we can. Someone can, certainly not me.
Well, wait, you got a QR code on the side of your bag. I was really impressed with your
Right.
technology skills.
Right. Yeah, my technology skills. Yeah.
Well, yes, please share it. And I invite all of you who have watched this to please share it and introduce your friends and family to Dave. I had a wonderful exchange with a customer this week. She posted on Facebook, she's a friend of mine, posted on Facebook that she was really struggling. Her dog wouldn't eat. The vet was recommending a lot of testing, thousands of dollars worth of testing that she couldn't afford. And she felt badly for that. And she was, I'm all out of answers. I don't know what to do. He's only 13. I said, come see us. I mean, we can at least try to problem suit it before you have to go spend thousands of dollars. And she came and we recommended Dave's bland diet and a few supplements and some dry food. And her dog's eating again. And has eaten every meal since she came to see
I mean, that's like, oh, this is why I do this.
Yeah. Right? And, the next day she was like, thank you so much. I was, my vet had me terrified that the dog could have intestinal cancer and this, that, and the other. And I said, look, we are really, I understand vets are great. Vets do so much work in this town. And they do so much great stuff for dogs. But when I was saying that to somebody and saying, there is a reason that as adults and humans, we have a heart specialist and a nutritionist and a psychiatrist. You would never want your heart doctor to give you recommendations about your nutrition or your diet plan necessarily. You'll want a nutritionalist. They're going to be your specialist. And the same thing, you don't want your heart doctor to be your psychiatrist either. So, we can always be there for the nutrition side and see if we can help problem solve some of these things before you go and spend thousands of dollars. Sometimes the thousands of dollars has to happen.
Right.
But sometimes.
Well, that's great. Yep.
Yeah.
Well, listen, I'm just gonna. It sounds corny, but keep up the good work. You guys, right? You do just wonderful stuff. So.
Thank you, Dave, and thanks for taking the time out.
Thanks, everybody.
Getting the makeup crew out early for us. I really appreciate it.
They weren't happy. They're trying to unionize the place now after what they had to go through.
Well, we truly appreciate you being here. And I thank everybody who joined us today. We wish you a wonderful holiday, Dave. And I'll see you in the new year.
You betcha. Happy holidays, everybody.
Happy holidays. Thanks, Dave.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.